Hosting ruminating, a home communion for my God Hades approach for living with my soulmate. Ooh. Today is Sunday, 17 May 2026 AD, and here I, Tanis, she, her, hers of Seattle, ruminate about a home communion for my God Hades approach for living with my soulmate, reflecting on how my solo ones have gone and how I may be able to include my soulmates. So I've done one where I was kneeling at a table over kind of like a nightstand over there in this very room, and then two sitting at the desk with my little setup for the food, and then Baby Yoda. And so I was thinking, well, what about introducing a soulmate or soulmates into my home communion? I was like, I like the idea of having an eating surface. Okay, so retaining that element of both setups of having an eating surface. I think with one soulmate, we could share an eating surface. I'd be okay with that. The size of the eating surface may need to be varied, and our approach. So if we share like with the Baby Yoda ones, so instead of Baby Yoda, there's a person, and then where Baby Yoda was is like their food they're eating, like kind of adjusting the eating surface accordingly and what we have on it. If there's a bunch of us, then we might need more than one eating surface, or we could vary the setup so that we're kind of like all clustered around the one eating surface. And so so there's an approach. There's also with the filming device, the main thing is keeping us in frame. So as the host of these communions, right, is thinking of keeping them in frame if they want to be in frame. Like it's the preference for us all being visible in a video, and let's say a row, would take preference in having two eating surfaces, say, would take priority or preference for myself in hosting over there being one surface and people being kind of like not necessarily as visible, and they want to be visible. All right, so we all want our faces on screen, being like, all right, I as host choose to be flexible, and that may mean more than one eating surface. And so so we could be like campers around a fire. Heathcliff brought a chair to break apart for firewood. We kind of got it. We might have to be close in together, like around a campfire, only we're around the food. And so there would be food and or beverage. And then so for that is kind of a settled approach. As for like what the eating surface is, that may, if it's a routine thing, or like I eat food routinely, they could do that. If it becomes some sort of tradition / ritual, or we do it in high frequency, maybe a dedicated setup for the home communion. So differentiating it from some of my other eating content to make it kind of clear it's a communion, as well as perhaps do something that may, an element that then may come to be incorporated as something to kind of like symbolize my God Hades. So like in attending church in First Lutheran Church of Richmond Beach last year, 2025, there's a cross. Was there a cross? Is there a cross? It's a church. There's a cross somewhere. Okay. To symbolize Christianity. What do I have for Hades? Well, and that's also true for me, where I'm the host. So it's something that brings in my God, but also brings me in strength, even if I'm just hosting myself, or even if I'm hosting my soulmates. So that's hosting, ruminating, a home communion for my God Hades approach for living with my soulmate.